It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Today, as I always do, I have a special guest with me, and this is someone who I have not known very long. We met at church. We had somebody in common that I didn't even know. Her husband is a childhood friend of mine, and so, but I guess our greater bond has been formed through our church, through being sisters at the church, and then we share a common friend. A common sister friend. So it's just been a journey. I found out a few things about her, enough to know that her story will bless you and help you either with your story or someone who you know and love, okay? So today we have with us Rosalyn Cadle. And Roz, we are so, I'm calling you Roz.
That's fine.
But we're so glad to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
And so I know that there will be things that I learn through the conversation that I don't know. And then my prayer is even that by the end of our conversation, you learn some things, even about your own self that you weren't aware of. So Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So Roz, let's start at the beginning. Okay. Tell us about little Roz.
Oh, wow. Little Roz. It didn't seem like I was ever little.
Okay.
I am not originally from South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Born and raised. I have an older brother and older sister.
Okay.
And everything was pretty normal for the majority of my childhood. Until I was 10. Okay. And when I was 10, I lost my father. He had a stroke. Okay. That was actually his second stroke. Okay. He had a stroke prior to that in '79. And then he had his another stroke in '81, and that's the stroke where he passed away. Okay. So then it was just the four of us. By that time, my brother was graduating from high school. Okay. My daddy died in '81. Brian graduated in '82. Okay. So he went off to college. I'm sorry, he went to the military. Okay. He went in the military. In '81, my father died. In '85, my mother passes away. So you were 14? I was 14. I was... it's kind of like, I always think, I was 10 when daddy died, but I was about to turn 11. I was 14 when mommy died. I was about to turn 15. Okay. After that, was, it was trauma after trauma after trauma. And I'm just giving you the play-by-play, not the intricate pieces.
And then I'll come back in and we'll dive.
We'll go back in. After my mother passed in '85, my brother passed away in '92. Okay. By that time, it was a lot that had never been dealt with. Okay. A lot that was not even recognized. Okay. I don't think. I think when losing my father, the title or my title or how people viewed me was I was strong. You're so strong. You've lost your father. You lost your mother. You lost your brother. You are so strong. And so I took on that persona. Really, I was not, but I took on the persona. Everyone else says I'm strong, so I have to be strong. So emotions of vulnerability were not allowed.
Gotcha.
So it just built and built and built. I like to say it was like a snowball. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger with every trauma. It got bigger. My three major traumas are the ones I just spoke of.
Okay. So when your father passed away? Because usually, as I know, even though we may love both parents, we tend to kind of cling to one or the other. Which one was it for you?
My daddy.
Okay. So that was a major. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, all of them were major. Do you feel like you, but I also know that I guess as we mature, as we grow older, things kind of tend to hit us differently as well. But by the time we're 10, normally we really are processing more, grasping more. We feel the loss greater. Maybe, younger kids, they will know and miss a person, but I don't think the memories may not be as strong at a younger age. But by the time you're 10.
Yeah, I think with when Daddy passed, it was such a focus on the death that I kept it at the death.
Okay.
I never went any deeper to see what actually was I losing. What did he give to me?
Okay.
What he was giving to me is what I was the abandonment piece, what I no longer got. My relationship with Daddy was different than my relationship with Mommy.
How?
Daddy saw me.
Okay.
Daddy saw me. He appreciated me, it almost felt like. I felt more of a closeness with my father. As you know, I'm writing a book, and it's crazy. As old as I am, there's still things that come back to me, and that I forgot that. I purposefully forgot a lot. I like to say that my childhood wasn't unfortunate. I had unfortunate things happen to me in my childhood. But because of those unfortunate things, it was easier for me just to say, okay, I'm just gonna forget everything. So it was things I can sit and my sister and I can be talking and she'll bring up something. I'll be like, I forgot all about that because I purposefully blocked a lot of things out just so I didn't have to deal with the hurt of what I lost. Right. But because everything was just such a focus on the death, I never really thought about what were the components, what were the nurturing pieces that I no longer got.
So now sitting here, as you think back and you say, Daddy saw me, what made you know he saw you? What did it bring to the table for you that made you know, like, he saw me, he gets me?
I didn't realize that, Marcy, till 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when I realized that all of my life I've been searching for what I no longer got. I was searching for that validation. Okay. By any means necessary. Yes. My father comforted me. Okay. My father.
So he was the one you didn't have to be strong for.
Right. I didn't have to.
Gotcha.
I didn't have to do anything. Daddy provided for me. Daddy comforted me. He supported me. He protected me. He loved me. All those things. When he left, that left. Okay. And I'm not trying to blame anything. Right. I'm not placing blame. And I've learned you carry things over from what you had in your childhood. So something that's tragic for me is that I never had the opportunity to have a discussion with my mother. Yeah. So I would know who she really was. Right. What was it she was dealing with that after Daddy died is kind of like she went on and nobody addressed the little one. Nobody wanted to check to see if Rosalyn was okay. Life just went on as usual. And I lost some things. So I was constantly looking for that thing that Daddy gave me that nobody picked up. Nobody took the baton and ran with it.
Looking back, were there any manifestations in your life that you're now aware of that may have happened once your father passed away? Did your personality okay, so what'd that look like?
Well, after Daddy died, it was the hurt Rosalyn. Okay. The hurt Rosalyn took everything personal. Okay. Everything was personal, even though it wasn't necessarily always had anything to do with me. But I took everything personal. It was all an affront to me. It was I was hurt.
Okay.
When Mommy died, the hurt never left.
It just became compounded. Okay.
Now I'm angry. The anger was there.
What produced the anger?
The hurt. And doggone it, I'm tired of this. I mean, I lost my daddy.
Right.
Now I'm losing my mother. And I'm like, okay. Oh, it was after a while, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm 14 years old. There was no plan. I was angry at everybody. I'm angry at Mommy. There was no plan in place. I'm angry at cancer. I'm angry at God. I'm angry at everybody. I'm angry at my brother and sister because they were grown by them.
Okay.
And it was, I'm stuck. And there's nobody telling me, okay, do this, do this, do this. And then because of the anger, now I'm biggity. Okay. You can't tell me nothing.
Okay.
So it just
looking back, you know how we always hear hurting people hurt people.
Oh yeah.
So did you experience that lash out? Looking back, now I know for some, hurting people hurt themselves. They hurt themselves. But sometimes they become the bully, or they are quick to they snap.
No, that was me.
Okay.
I don't think I ever was a bully.
Okay. But you didn't. As our pastor says, you didn't take tea for fever.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
I was sassy. You couldn't tell me anything. By the
you
time
were gonna
I'm
keep
14,
people off you.
Right. By the time I was 14 and I'm paying bills, there ain't nothing you could tell me.
So what happened when your mommy passed? Where did you go?
Okay, well, so when Mommy died, I went and stayed with my uncle. Her brother, who was the next. My mother was the oldest child. Okay. And then my uncle was after my mom. I went and lived with him they didn't have any children. My aunt and uncle didn't have any kids. They had a house. It was right down the street from the school I was going to. Okay. It was a convenience. His wife was, I loved her. She was everything that my mother was not. Okay. In so many different ways. And like I said, I'm not taking anything from my mother.
One thing, and I just want to insert this, and I know it's something because we always want to protect and we never want to offend
or devalue.
Right. Then sometimes we can't get our personal truth out because we don't want anybody to look at anybody else.
I'm constantly protecting other people.
Yes. And I mean, I get it. If I were to say, when I tell my story, I have to stop myself, or I will say, no, I had a good job, but this is
my truth.
Yeah. And so I pray that even for those who are watching, that they are able to not deny themselves and what happened to them, because just because something happened to us or we experienced it one way doesn't make somebody else a villain.
Right.
And so I'm praying that, and I know it's something that we have to dig through. I feel like even in therapy and stuff, there are people that I know who I believe need therapy because they may only be honest with somebody who knows none of their people.
Yeah, that's so
If there is somebody who knows, a lot of times we don't give the whole story because we don't want people to think something else. So I get it, and I hope our audience gets it, that because we never know what your mom went through.
Exactly.
Like you said, because
I never had that conversation.
When you were talking earlier and said like you don't know what happened when your daddy died with your mom, what I saw in my mind was a rowboat, and y'all were in it, but she's just paddling. She's paddling, trying to make it somewhere and not able to focus as much on what's in the boat as trying to get, I just got to get from here. And that's, and so everybody, you know, I was talking to my niece and my nephew's wife, my other niece, last night, and we were just saying, when death hits, everybody goes into survival. It's like this, you're trying to get out of this tailspin. And you sometimes can't be what you would like to be to someone else because you're just trying to stay yourself.
And I think that's one of the issues that I had, was that I never grieved for my father. And because I never grieved for him, it's like a domino. So I never grieved for mommy. Because after mommy passed, I was in survival mode.
So what did your aunt get? Because you were talking about how your aunt was everything that your mom wasn't. But at that age, could you appreciate it?
Not really.
She got what everybody else got.
She saw me differently. Mommy was, like you said, she trying to get somewhere. So it wasn't so much that she didn't take the time to do it, but maybe she didn't have the time to do it. Where I'm thinking, you should have picked up that gauntlet and took it after Daddy died. But she really didn't know exactly what Daddy was giving me. So she didn't know that, okay, I got to do this now for Rosalyn. She didn't know that either, because we never had the conversation. Conversation was not it was not the big thing in my household. We didn't sit up and we didn't talk about our feelings.
In our age, I believe.
Yeah, we wouldn't sit and talk about feelings.
We're the same year's children.
It's just you do what I say. Not as I do.
Conversations are new in our community.
Right. And you don't, it's just you stay in a child's place. And so I did what I was told. And if we were getting on with life, we got on with life. But because it was never addressed, and if I had anything that I want people to know, is that when trauma, any trauma, comes and there is a child, that child is experiencing it. They're experiencing it in their own way. So don't disregard that because they're children. Which is why I see it every day. I see it every day with the kids that I serve. It's traumas. And then they are manifested in all these different ways because nobody addresses it. Nobody says, I see you. I know what are you going through? Let's talk. And then by the time I did have some people to tell me that, by the time I'm 14, I'm done at that point. I'm good. I've been handling myself all this time. I got it now. Where were you 5 years ago? And that anger just built.
So what did your teen years look like?
Oh, Lord. A lot of trying to figure things out. Flying, building the plane while we were flying it. After Mommy died and I moved in with my aunt and uncle, I stayed there. Mommy died in June. I stayed there with them until December. My brother got out of the military. When my brother came home from the military, like I said, I was biggity. Get my little Social Security check. So I felt like I could do what I wanted. And I didn't really look at them as being my parent at all. So I did what I wanted. And I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. So when Brian came home from the military, we would be at my Uncle Jerry's house, the other side of my family. My daddy's youngest brother. We would be over there, and I was actually in private school. My freshman year, I went to private school. My mother had me in a private school. My mother died the summer before my sophomore year. So for some reason, I decided I was going to stay at this private school. I don't know. I knew no fiscal, nothing with money. And I remember going to I think it was the AP of the school, and just telling them, this summer my mother passed away, and this. And I remember the only thing I could remember from that meeting with him was, well, how are you going to pay your tuition? That's all I got. And this was a Christian private school. All I got was, okay, sorry to hear that. So how are you going to be paying your tuition? No healing took place at that school.
Okay.
I met great friends that I have one particular friend I still correspond with from that school. But other than that after sophomore year, I was like, I'm going back to public school because I don't have to pay for it. You know, I'm the only one paying bills. I left my my aunt and uncle's house and moved back into our childhood home.
At what age?
15, when Brian got out the military.
Okay.
We moved back into the house. The house never sold, so Brian and I moved back into the house. Okay. And he became my guardian. Okay. He's 7 years older than me.
Okay. And he's your brother. So
and he's my brother.
Forget about it.
And he's 7 years older than me, so he's all of 22. So my teenage years were
free fall.
Oh my gosh. It was, I can't say that it wasn't horrible. Where I lack in family, I have an overabundance in friends.
That's good.
And I had close friends.
But you were grown.
I was grown, but not with them. When I was at my friends' homes and their parents were there, I was Rosalyn. I was okay being in that subservient role as being somebody's child. I was fine with that. I was fine with that.
So you learned early
how to shift.
I
was fine with that. In every home I went to, you know, it was always something, this is for Rosalyn. The parents, my friends' parents really sheltered me. They comforted me. They did those things that but it was only for those snippets. It wasn't the long going. So I did have places where I could go to be safe. I felt safe when I was at Tracy's, when I was at Janine's, when I was at Marie's. I was safe there. Now, when I got back to the house, I was grown. I'm paying bills. There wasn't no food in the refrigerator. It was, you know, they wanted to spend the night at my house. It was BYOE. Bring your own everything. There ain't nothing at Rosalyn's. And I still had friends who come over and and we still laugh about that. We're grown now. Like I asked Tracy's mom, Tracy asked her mom one time, why did you let me go stay at Rosalyn's? You know, there wasn't no people, wasn't no adults there. Brian was 22 and half the time he wasn't home. So we did what we wanted. I had parties. I went to school. I went to school because I could be a kid at school. I loved school.
Which is different.
I love school. Which is probably why I'm a teacher.
Yeah, and think about how a lot of times the kids bring... So, you loved school. Did you love it all? Did you love that that's where you were with your friends? Because with us being teachers, I know there are so many people, so many times when we see kids, just like you said, who are going through traumas and when they get to school, we get it. Like they give it to us. And so is it that your teachers didn't get it?
I don't think so.
That was one of those places where you came under
and
again
I just did what I was supposed to do. Yeah. I don't think I look, and if I did.
See, that's different.
Please, I apologize if I did.
But but you understand that's different. Because a lot of what we see, and I know we don't know what our kids go through. And I say like I'm still teaching in the school, but you know, a lot of times we don't know what our kids go through at home.
But most of my teachers did. Two of my teachers, they were at my mother's funeral. I can remember seeing them at my mother's funeral. So they knew. It was fun. Like by the time I got to high school, and I wouldn't go to school. I just had a day. I just didn't go. And they would call the house to see if I was gonna come to school, and they well, you know, Rosalyn's not at school, and Brian would be like, well, hold on, and he'd give me the phone. He'd be like, well, did you talk to her? That's my guardian. So after a while, if I didn't come, they would just call and, Rosalyn, you coming today? I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna make it today. But I was an AB student. I did not fail. I was a cheerleader. How, I don't know. How I paid for the uniforms, how I did, by the grace of God. I don't know who paid for it, because we literally had my Social Security check. My brother, he got out of the military, but he got out on a dishonorable discharge.
Gotcha.
And his dishonorable discharge really prohibited him getting a lot of jobs, and so he really didn't have a steady job, a steady income. So really the only income we had was my Social Security check. And I only got daddy's. I never got mommy's because Reagan cut it in '84.
Wow.
Mommy died in '85. So I got the largest of the two, which was daddy's.
We've been talking, and we know kind of physically the outward manifestations or what you were having to do, the grappling that was going on. But like you said, it sounds like it was good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. How did you, so without that oversight, without whatever, what in you said, okay, I'm going to college? Because did you go straight into college after high school?
I did. I went to Ohio State right when I graduated from high school.
I
have no idea other than the fact that I always was told, you're going to college. And all my friends were going to college. So I just,
Was it a scholarship? You paid that too?
I paid it. Not realizing I had so many opportunities to get a full ride just because of my situation.
The A's and B's and the situation.
Just because of my situation.
But nobody to foster you in that way.
Nobody did. Nobody told me any of that. Nobody. So I did go to Ohio State. And I got married.
While you were in college?
Yes. I got married, and then he was in the military. And we went to California. So I got married.
How old were you when you got married?
Hold on, I'm thinking now. I was 19.
Wow.
I was 19 when I got married. But he took care of me. He took care of me like I had not been taken care of. I was tired of taking care of myself. I was tired of trying to figure out what I was going to eat, how I'm going to keep these lights on, how am I going to do this. It was a constant me figuring out what was next.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at thessbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together.